Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper, where today we're pretty much just killing time, right? We're just waiting for something to happen up in the hub with the Sidereal Horizon. I am very concerned about the long-term stabilizer situation. I don't know what we're going to do about that. I suppose, actually, let's pop over to the greenhouse for a second. Or the greenway, rather. By the way, I keep meaning to say something, and I almost forgot about it again. But I do want to make sure I say I love the music in this game. And of course, as soon as I started recording it, it faded out. So we don't have a good example right now. Oh yeah, there is this, huh? But I think the music is wonderful. The music has done a really good job of setting the tone for various scenes. I haven't talked about it because every time I think about it, we're in the middle of something, and by the time the thing is over, I've forgotten because I'm, spacey. So, the music's really good. This actually, you know what? This action makes a lot of sense for us. If I'm worried about having stabilizer long term, building up a big supply of scrap components, and then, I'll be doing some kind of engineering work on board the thing, presumably. Provided that we're getting on as crew and not going into cryo sleep, we must be, right? Because that's the deal with the other people who had their Celis IDs chosen. So yeah, just like having a big supply of scrap to take with me so I can do self-repair while I figure out a longer-term situation. Yeah, maybe there's something to that. But I also kind of want to keep pushing on this Sabine and Rabia thing, so we could throw some dice over here. I should probably get Yannick's trust, and we were not ready for this kind of action before, but I think we can do it now. The massive block at the center of the low end is made up of layers and layers of units. Patrolling this vertical city is a challenge. Is it a challenge that we are up to? Kind of, sort of. We have all the money for mushrooms. Like, obviously, I'm not worried about a minus energy outcome. But I do think, yeah, okay, a 6. A 6 is good. We will always find a way to roll neutral if neutral is on the die. This is an engage, and again, I don't think it really, I think it's out of character for us to take a bonus to engage. I definitely want to take +2 to interface when we have another upgrade point. I think that makes sense. And honestly, if we were doing all of our level ups via what makes sense from a character perspective, we probably would have taken interface before Intuit. It's just, Intuit was convenient. So I think we're good here. Now this greenway action is endure, which you have a +1 on it. I'm a little worried about the fact that it's a danger action. But stockpiling scrap makes a lot of sense for us, preparing to go on our little journey. In an old docking bay, you'll find a locker corroded shut. You crack it open and the components inside are in perfect condition. Honestly, kind of mysterious. And then just toss a 1 into the commune? I don't know if there's anything of actual value we can do with a 1 right now. We'll just use this to buy our action. I mean, is Cryo's general use cryptocurrency, and the people who are coming with us on the Sidereal Horizon are coming from this station. I'm not sure if cryo is going to be of value on the horizon. Does it make sense to stockpile it? I guess so. Sort of. All right, let's definitely do a little self-repair. Keep our 5 dice. Hoping we can roll some more 5s and 6s here. I'd really like to be able to make some progress on that Yannick thing. Wow, these dice though. Factories, restaurants, surgeries, schools. The layers of the block are rich with stories and problems to solve. And you're starting to learn them all. See, I honestly don't feel as bad doing this work either. This feels like we're going out and helping people. Of course, we got the neutral. We always get the neutral on a 5. Ugh, very predictable. Well, I guess we'll finish this off tomorrow. I probably don't want to eat the negative consequence, and let's be honest, I would roll it. So there's not actually anything like of value to do up here. Yeah, we can. It's interesting that this is still marked as Bliss's Bay. It should say Moritz now, shouldn't it? So this is danger. What are the odds on a 4? And a big hit to condition is definitely not where we want to be. Well, we could go do some engineering work and maybe end up with some scrap, right? We have enough grove spores to last us like the rest of our time here. So it doesn't feel like it makes any sense to go gather those. Is there a scrap vessel in the... No, okay. There'll be one in 3 days. And we will buy out all of its parts. So... I guess there's this. We never did really return the favor for Tala. And this is only risky. You know what? I'm trying. I'm trying with people. I'm trying to repay Tala a little bit of the kindness before we leave. Okay, we got lucky there. 2 3s came out good and neutral. It was actually quite lucky. And then I'm gonna burn this one for 2 energy again. I guess we could have slept at the container, but I feel way better sleeping here. Oh no, not the negative outcome. This isn't the right button at all. So yeah, having some scrap on hand and having a little bit more stabilizer. I'm really hoping we can pull 2 stabilizer with 3 club heads from this next batch. That'll keep us going for a while. We'll have to ration the stabilizer carefully until we have a real solution, but... Okay, so tomorrow that batch is finished. And I don't love these dice, but we should be able to wrap up the Yannick thing. Please give me the positive. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter. Right, neutral was good enough, and the energy loss doesn't do anything. You almost laugh when you see it. The same small recorder, stuck to a different wall this time. Written across the fluorescent tape is that familiar word, sleeper. You grab it quickly. Rabia says sorry. Sabine's voice sparks up once again. She said she didn't have time to brief you before setting you up with the old man. I'm sure you've got the play by now. Earn his trust, work the block, then we need you to get into his office. A pause. It's risky, but obviously you're the only one of us he doesn't already know. Either way, we need to locate the link back to SNARP. You hear a shout in the background of the recording. Rabia says be careful. I love the idea that they're just hanging out now. They're just like palling around. Sabine continues. The data suggests there's some relay processing the implant data and sending it to SNARP, but we can't lock down its position. Either he's moving it, or it's moving itself, or it's rerouting through other relays. We can't understand it. Maybe you can find some details on it in his office. Once he trusts you, you should be able to get close enough to get in the office. You'll get one shot at this. The recording creaks and whines. That's the final piece of the puzzle to end this. A pause. Good luck, Sleeper. I'm sorry, too. Be safe. The recording clicks off, leaving you in silence. You pocket the recorder, just in case, and walk away. Looks like it's up to you. Hey, what a surprise. Ain't that a huge change of pace? So what's the deal with Yannick's office? Okay, this is a one-off. We are going to locate the relay either way. You know, a little bit of classic fail-forward design. Fortunately, I have a 4+2, so we don't even have to worry about it. Yannick has asked you to collect his medicine from his office. This is such a fucking trap, right? This is the most obvious trick in the universe. Why am I going for this? Hey, could you go to a place that I only let really trusted people into at a time when I know you're going to be there? You look at the countermeasure on the drawer. It looks like some kind of shock trap. If you'd grabbed the drawer, you'd likely have thousands of volts running through your system right now. You wince. Once you find the anchor points, it comes away easily enough. You prise it from the drawer quickly and quietly, then listen for footsteps in the corridor outside. Nothing. All clear for now. You slide the drawer open, looking for other countermeasures that might be inside, expecting to see a chunk of tech, the relay. But as you slip it open, all you see is a handful of wires and an empty implant cradle. Right, because, yeah, like, it makes a lot of sense that the relay is an implant, right? That's how it's moving around. That was my first assumption. I guess it might be in Yannick himself. I was thinking it also could just be in, like, an enforcer who is trusted. Is this some kind of mistake? You freeze for a moment, unsure what to do next. Why keep an implant cradle so carefully guarded? You remember Yannick having an implant, a small plate on the side of his head, just above his ear, but you assumed it was for hearing or vision. Those shimmering glasses of his come back to you in your memory, his strange movements, his speech. You look again at the cradle, and there it is, printed on the frame. Proprietary technology, property of SNARP. Rabia said the relay moved, that they couldn't get a fix on it. What if Yannick was the relay? The thought hits you like a shock, as our character's a little bit less familiar with the tropes of cyberpunk stories than I am, apparently. Yannick, with a remote relay implanted in his head, networked to every single implanted enforcer in the low end. A shudder runs through you. Is he even in control? Or has SNARP wormed its way into the man? Could he even be considered separate from the corporation itself? You think of your own legal status as proprietary technology. A puppet with cut strings. Time to cut Yannick's strings, then. You reach around inside the cradle and find it, a remote connection, a tiny bead of a transmitter, likely controlling the link to SNARP. There it is. You pause for a moment. Then you squeeze it, snap it from the frame, and it crumples, sparks, and dies. It takes a moment before the shouts come, before the scream, and you're already on your way out, down the corridor, down through the unit that serves as the lobby to Yannick's office. Then out onto the walkway, where Yannick lies still, enforcers gathered around him, bemused. I want to know what happened. Rabia and Sabine are going to want to know what happened in some more detail. Will it look weird if I see the hubbub and I don't go over to it? Like, is it more suspicious to just walk away? I am really curious. Like, I have to admit, I'm surprised that it had this effect on him. I assumed it would just be like, he can't transmit anymore. And I am supposed to have been getting his medicine. I don't have his medicine, do I? I'm leaving. You've seen enough. The connection is cut, and whatever Yannick was or had become is gone. In some way, presumably. Your anger is a hard core in your chest, and all of it is focused on SNARP. Well, I guess that's something. 4 days from now, there's going to be an aftermath. Is that within my... We might miss that. Yeah, I do believe we are going to miss the aftermath. Well, is what it is. Hopefully, Rabia and Sabine have it under control from here. Yeah, let's hope. So... I'll put a 4 in at the overlook, and then we'll re-roll. Okay, positive outcome. We're actually getting quite lucky now. I'm not gonna put in the 1 because that clock is called good service. The service that you get at a 1 is probably not that good. Let's just go ahead and sing for our supper here, and then jam some more metal into my face and take a nap. You know, just normal stuff. Okay, so first things first. Want to go pretty hard on the mushroom harvesting. We want rares. Okay, a club head. And gosh, we have a lot of matsutake. It's really not that rare, it turns out. Nope, give me the... Okay, 2 club heads is fine, I suppose. Let's go ahead and reseed this. We won't be here when these fungal beds come to fruition, but you know, it's like take a penny, leave a penny. Except the pennies are magic. Well, I was gonna say magic mushrooms. That's not usually what people mean when they say magic mushrooms, but they are like literally magic mushrooms. Any sufficiently advanced fungus is indistinguishable from magic. We all know this. Let's re-roll those. Cool, I re-rolled a 3 and a 2 into a 3 and a 2. I'm gonna go drop a 3 at the Overlook and let's see what happens. I'm trying really hard, Tala, I swear. Neutral? At least neutral? Okay, neutral outcome. We did it. The girl slides from the bottle into the lumpy recycled glass, a pale grassy yellow under the Overlook's warm lights. The spacer nods and takes the drink, bringing it up to their face in both hands like an offering bowl. This is the good stuff. The stuff Tala says is aged in wooden casks. Where would we get wood? Stored in some closed-off part of the old station, among corroded wires and softly looping systems. Though sometimes it is hard to tell if Tala's just joking. Either way, you like pouring this stuff. It gets on your fingers, and if you rub them together you can smell the mossy drink, cut through with aniseed, mushrooms, wood, as the alcohol evaporates. You like those who order it, too. The aged Garol is kept beneath the bar, open to order only by those who know it's there, like the quiet spacer sitting at the bar right now. We do lurk and watch people, don't we? They're far enough away that you can freely watch them as you close the bottle and tuck it beneath the bar. You call them a spacer because they bear the hallmarks. Pale, vac-suited, bird-boned, and hunched beneath the weight of the station's spin gravity. But the closer you look, the less you see a type. Pale eyes, almost gray, but kind. Delicate fingers that lightly drum the bar as if it was an instrument. A shock of black hair almost covering a forehead scar. Scars are something you have learned to value. They're what marks out your body from the hundreds, or maybe thousands, who knows, of similar models that rolled out of SNARP's biolabs. You find yourself rubbing one on your forearm, a rough little split, something that on the good days you might think of as a mark of defiance. Suddenly, you hear a very heavy clunking at the door. It creaks open and a huge cylindrical metal tank tumbles through, slamming into the floor. Shit! Tala breezes in from behind it, a whirl of hair and bright eyes. Shit. Tala, do you need some help? I'm probably stronger than you are. Sleeper! She ducks behind the bar and comes over. Can you help me with this? You look at the huge metal tank suspiciously. Yes, I can, and I'm not going to ask any questions. I am just trying to take care of the people who took care of me before we leave. You come around the bar and get to one side of the tank. Okay, says Tala, on my count. 1, 2, 3. You both heave the tank up to standing. Somehow. You hold it in place, struggling to keep it steady. And where's this going? In the back, comes a voice from behind the tank. Somehow, you manage to lug the huge thing into the back room, where you place it in one corner, dwarfing the rest of the contents of the small room. As you do, you hear a crunch. Uh-oh. You stand back and look at the expired rations oozing out from under the tank. Oh, shit. Tala looks at you apologetically. I know you liked those. Hey, no, that's okay. You push the crushed rations to one side. Hey, we've hardly partaken of those at all, right? That's the end of that. Tala looks exhausted and rubs her shoulders. Francis, I swear to... Francis? Francis, I mentioned him already. My guy on the door. Deals with suppliers. Tall? She sighs. He was supposed to be back from Etienne's up in the Greenway by now. Back with our girl. She leans against the tank. It seems like he's got lost again, or joined the Haifa commune. But we need that girl. There's 4 other bars near here, and the spacers sure as hell don't come to the Overlook for the ambiance. She looks through the open door to check if anyone can hear her. She knocks on the hollow tank. So I'm taking matters into my own hands. She smiles. Welcome, sleeper, to the Overlook Distillery. You look around the dank back room. Well, it needs some work, but lucky you, I happen to know a thing or two about mushrooms. She picks at some paint flaking from the metal walls. Well, I might need some help, though. She shrugs. You up for it? She knocks on the tank again. Could be fun? Listen, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to do whatever I can for you. Today and, like, tomorrow, maybe. Okay. She grabs you by the shoulders. I'm excited. She turns around and looks at the tank. I reckon we chop this thing in half. One half for fermentation, the other we turn into a still. We'll also need to gather ingredients. She turns back and looks at you. You look like more a chopper than a gatherer. She smiles. So how about you build the still in the tub while I work on the rest? Oh, wait, Sleeper, I have an idea. Tala is grinning now, and it's making you nervous. To make up for the rations, how about we put a kitchen in here too? Is a kitchen gonna fit? We'll make it work. She turns back to the tank. This is gonna be great. You look at the dented tank and the bare room. Well, at least she has vision. Talon dunges you out of the back room and closes the door. As you go back to the bar, you hear the banging and thumping begin. The spacer finishes up their drink and nods in your direction as they leave. You can't quite tell if it's a gesture of sympathy or good luck. Well, so much for a quiet shift. She is not good at reading us. We are very much more a gatherer than a chopper. So we could throw some dice on building the still, and we're really, really good at it. I mean, we'll just buy some mushrooms for energy. Oh, I don't think we're going to be able to finish that in time. Well, we'll do what we can, but we can't bail on the Lemon Mina plan. They need us. So it's not today, right? Oh no, there's a couple more. Okay. We'll have a whole cycle at the, we will be able to do 3 cycles worth of work. So actually, I have pretty high hopes that we'll be able to finish that then. We have a lot of dice to work with and nothing else taking them up at the moment. Let's ensure that we continue to have a lot of dice to work with. I was supposed to be stockpiling scrap. I have decided to do something else instead. Listen, we're going to figure it out. If we can keep ourselves healthy with just spare parts, we can figure this out aboard the commune. So, or aboard the Horizon. So obviously these 5s go in here. Tala comes to help you for a bit and chats to you about her plans for the Overlook. A second pair of hands makes the work go easier. Am I going to reroll all 3 of these dice, or do we spend the 3 as a 5? 50-50, right? Yeah. Okay. Ooh, lucky. Lucky, lucky. Alright, the 4 is beautiful. And then the 2 becomes a 4, which has a chance of going negative, but it's only minus energy. Yeah, let's do it. We'll put in our whole cycle here. Okay, neutral. So all we need is 1 positive tomorrow and we're set. Cool, cool, cool. And we stop by emphasis again. It's probably not necessary. Like, there's nothing mechanically of value to me going back to sleep in the Haifa dorm every night instead of sleeping in the bed that's nearer to the place where we work. But, like, if I feel like it just makes sense. I feel like it just makes sense for the character. Okay, good dice. Can you believe she decried our fungus gathering skills? Ridiculous. Oh, scrap freighter. We are for sure buying all of the scrap that they have on hand. You know, good stuff to take with us. Almost certainly more valuable than the cryo we're spending. What am I doing? I went way too far south. This is the Overlook. South. You know, galactic south. Alright, there we go. Tala stands up from the newly finished still and tub, hands on her hips. Look at this, she grins. The Overlook Distillery in all its glory. She squeezes you around the shoulders. Thank you. How's sourcing ingredients going? Because I might be able to help with that if we could do it quickly. Tala smiles. I think I've got most of it covered between the food factories in the low end and the farm stacks on the Greenway. However, she pauses, there is an issue. Tell me. I'm really good at solving issues. Well, Girol the drink, as you probably guessed, is named after Girol the mushroom. That's what gives it that golden color and earthy taste. The alcohol is infused with the mushrooms, along with a mix of spices. That means you need Girol caps to make Girol, but no one wants to supply us. The distilleries on the Greenway are taking all the stock from the farms out there, so it's hard to get a single cap across the Founder's Gap. Oh, is it? However, I have an idea. She smiles. We can grow our Girol caps here. She gestures at the increasingly equipment-filled back room. Well, I'm going to tell her I can bring her mushrooms, but she's going to respond that that's a short-term solution. She needs to be self-sufficient on this, and I respect that. Tala gives you a pitying look. Where is your vision? Any outside supplier means they take a cut. Well, okay, maybe not you, but someone somewhere takes a cut. Tala puts a hand up on the still. We made a still. We set all this up. How hard can growing mushrooms be? They don't need light. They barely need soil. We can do this. She pauses. Or at least we could if we had something to grow them from. You mean like spores? Exactly. Suddenly you feel like you've walked into a trap. And you are the perfect person to get me those spores. What happened to me being bad at gathering? She nods rapidly. Think about it. You built the still. You're great with plants. You know the eye like the back of your hand. Need I go on? I wonder how much of this dialogue is actually based on like things about your character and things you've done. Because we are great with plants, but I wonder if she just says this to everybody. Because presumably not every character is going to be, especially not necessarily at the moment they do this this sort of like storyline. Because we could have started this much, much earlier than we did. I guess she probably does say that to everybody because you have the option to call her out on it not being correct. Are you flattering me? If it's working, then yes? She grins sheepishly. You know what? People don't flatter me that often. I don't care whether it's true or not. I'll do it, whatever. Look, I can't leave the bar, and the other people picking up shifts. I'm saying it has to be you. Yeah, no, that's fine. I get it. Wonderful. You'll love it over on the Greenway, I think. All that fresh air, open space. She sees your expression. Okay, I'm done. She turns back to look at the still and the fledgling distillery forming around it. It really is something, though, isn't it? And, want to or not, you really have to agree. Why would I not want to? What would be the value of that? How many spores does she need? 3. Okay. That's so doable. That's just really extremely doable. So tomorrow's the big day then. We do get to see the... No, today is the big day. Okay, well then we had better go and... Why was I thinking it would fill up and then we would have another... I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on in my head. But we definitely have the dice to go fetch the spores she needs and then bring them back to her. Okay. We've done a lot of good spore work this game. All she needs are some spores to start it off. Oh, they're so cute, says Tala, looking at the container of spores. Her excitement is infectious. Oh, like I need a reason to get excited about spores. I love this shit. Alright, so now that's going to take some time for them to grow, I assume? Yep. Tala's locked herself away in the back room while she focuses on the distilling. She won't let anyone in or out. I do feel kind of bad about that because now I can't say goodbye to her. But we are going, though. Yep, and tomorrow that's going to come to a head, and listen, there's never going to be a totally clean time to break. Life is going to keep happening here, whether we're ready for it or for it to go or not. So, let's figure this out. Oh, he does not look as happy as I would like. There's a crowd, but you spot Lem and Mina immediately as you enter the dock. They're waiting at the cordon where Cella's security are checking the crew in to board the ship. Those that manage to get up to the hub are crowded near the entrance, but even they know their chance of getting on board has long gone. Wait, what's going on? Lem spots you among the crowd. Sleeper, here we are. Or, we are here. That's a weird way to... We're here. Okay, whatever. They're standing beside a bag which looks to carry all the possessions they have. It's small enough to be carried in one hand. Hi, Mina. Mina is vibrating with excitement. She seems strangely at home in microgravity, but then you remember that she spent her whole life in space. Hi, robot. You hand over the Celis ID film to Lem, keeping your own. He turns it back and forth in the light. Where did your friend even get this picture, Sleeper? It looks like my old Conway ID. You look, and a shimmering, younger Lem stares out of the film, harder and clean cut. This is no time. Focus. When I spoke to the guard here, he nods to the white and green clad security officer. They'll be doing orientation and role assignment on board. Sounds like we're going to be working under the core crew. Kind of like an intern. He laughs. What do you think, Meanie? Am I too old to be an intern? Following Lem's lead, you inspect your ID. As you lift the film up to the light, you see something strange. Something that makes you flinch. The face printed in the film is one you recognize immediately, but it is not you. Or at least, it is not how you look now. You squint at this ghost, confused why you hadn't noticed earlier. It is a picture you remember being taken. A memory that you didn't know you had. You remember signing the forms, the walk to the sleeper tanks, the cold metal floor. You remember the SNARP employee who helped you in, her smile clean and surgical. You freeze in place, thinking of the you that still sleeps somewhere in the SNARP facility, that won't wake until you are recovered and disposed of. And now you're leaving. Will they ever wake up? They're in cryosleep, though, right? Presumably at some point... I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to them. I hate to say this seems like a them problem, because it does. That's where my brain's at. But also... that's a real person that in some way I am responsible for. I don't know what to make of that. Sleeper? Lem interrupts your thoughts. These guys want us to board. You stare at him without thinking, then notice the guard gesturing to you both to come forward. You all kick off and float over to them, steadying yourselves on the guardrail. You hang back, letting Lem present his ID film first. The guard slides it across a white machine, much like the one Castor printed them from. You reflexively rub the puncture mark on your hand, even though there's no trace of it now. It seems to be your destiny to be someone else's tool. Boy, ain't that just like life under capitalism? I think we kind of got ourselves into the best situation we can realistically hope for, where we're someone else's tool for the good of other people. But Lem and Mina are waved through, the guard smiling at her excited face. Lem turns back to check you're coming. The guard beckons you closer. I wonder if we could bail. Like, Castor fulfilled his part of the bargain already. We could stay here and help Tala and help Rabaya and Sabine. I mean, I kind of think we already did help Rabaya and Sabine. No, I don't think that we are going to betray Castor, even though Castor is using us. He's at least using us in a way that we fully agreed to, and I don't even feel that I agreed under duress. Because, like, you could argue that I also agreed to the SNARP thing, right? Although, I didn't. It was another me, which is kind of like... The issue of personal responsibility there is pretty tricky, I guess. But anyway. But also, Lem and Mina actually want me along, right? So, yeah, I'm coming. You shake off your doubts and hand over your ID film. The guard barely looks at it as they pass it through the scanner and wave you through. A new life built from old things. You okay? Lem asks, concerned as you catch up with them. You are so slow, robot, Mina teases, grabbing at you with small hands. Yeah, I'm good. Lem nods, and you realize how much harder it must have been for him to cross that threshold. Mina struggles in his arms, trying to get to you, and Lem relents, struggling with both the bag and his daughter. Mina tumbles through the microgravity and grabs onto your clothes for purchase, pulling herself into your arms. You all proceed up the walkway, the entrance to the docking bridge yawning wide in above you. Yawning wide in above you? Probably that in is just not supposed to be there. Are we family, robot? Mina asks as you move, taking you by surprise. Yeah, I guess that's the point of all this, right? That's where this character has been building to this entire time. Yes, I guess so. Mina smiles and presses her head against your chest, pleased by your answer. You keep moving up into the docking bridge, then along that thin glass-walled connector, all the time Mina clutching onto you. The lack of gravity means you can't feel her weight, only the grip of her small hands on your clothes. You both stare wide-eyed at the vast hull of the sidereal horizon, and try to think of this huge machine as home. As a home, I guess. Later, when you settle in your bunk, after Mina has finished running back and forth between you and Lem with an endless and infectious excitement, you find yourself looking at your ID film once more. Somehow, since the last time you looked at it, the image seems to have changed. It's still a picture of the old you, the person that signed up to have their consciousness copied and placed into the ownership of SNARP. But something else has crept into the image. An underlying sense of self-identification. This is also a picture of you. You now. The you that survived the eye, that made friends here, that found a way out, that escaped against all odds. The other you might never wake up. They might never live again. But so be it. They consigned you to a doomed life for their own gain. Their life is yours now, and you will live it better than they ever could. That feels very, I get the anger. I guess, maybe I have a more complicated view of this than other people might because I'm trans, and I have definitely struggled with anger against the old me, who is way more the current me than is the case in this situation. But more than anything, I feel sorry for them. And that like is totally a reflection of how I feel about real life old me. It's like it's mostly just pity, the situation that they must have been in order to do this, and I'm not gonna cry. I'm good. You lie back on your bunk as the thrust of the Sidereal's vast engines kick in. This feeling, this rumble, will be your constant companion for the next decades. It will be there when you work, when you watch Mina grow, when you dream of the planet at the end of the journey. It will stay with you when your body starts to fail, despite the best attempts of Lemon Mina, as the years stack up and it exceeds its safe operating period by a decade. It will be the thing you wake up to in those rare moments of consciousness, between which Mina will keep you in a frozen state in the hope of preserving you until your destination is reached. It will still be there when Mina wakes you, tears in her eyes, to tell you of Lem's inevitable death. And it will not relent, despite your desire for a moment of silence. It will be the final thing you hear as Mina shuts down all but the most vital of your functions, and hopes beyond hope that you will make it to your final destination, all the while doubting that you will. But, for now, in this moment of departure, it is still a new sound, a new feeling, and because of this, it is filled with the promise of the future. And so you settle back on your bunk and close your eyes, and in moments you are sleeping a perfect, dreamless sleep, the most peaceful that you can ever remember. I'm enough of a stumble-tongued bad reader when I'm not trying to read through tears, so... Okay, I'm back. Hi. Just took a moment there. So yeah, that's the end of our story there in Citizen Sleeper, and gosh, I think that was really beautiful. I what a fucking great game, and like yeah. I have a lot of very positive feelings about this thing. I think also that I have already vocalized a lot of those. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and call the episode here instead of spending 20 minutes clumsily trying to say versions of things that I've already said. This is very, very good. And I'm really happy that I played it. And I'm really happy, I hope all of you that came along with us and stuck with us through to the end here enjoyed it as much as I did. So, I'm feeling a little scattered. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here and take another moment to myself. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back tomorrow, later. There's going to be more new stuff. There will be. And we'll see you then.